Hey everybody, here is my thought of the week for you today. Do you hate change? Some of us love it, and some of us absolutely hate it. Maybe you are like me, and change kind of invigorates you. It is a spice of life and gives you energy. I have to admit that when life changed in March due to the COVID crisis, I was a little bit excited to see the positive changes that could come out of it. Not excited for the negative aspects, mind you, because there are definite negative aspects, but just kind of excited for the new opportunities this change might present itself with. Maybe you hate change. You know your routines. You like things to stay the same. You go to the same restaurants. You order the same food each time. You know exactly the dish that you want. You have your morning routines and you don't want those interrupted. Maybe you like to vacation the same spots each year and you don't like that to change. Whether you like change or not, it is here. And one of the certainties of life is change. Now, I'm a follower of Jesus. And one thing that faith in Jesus emphasizes, one thing that we see in the writings of Jesus is change. We see in Luke chapter 24, Jesus is talking in this book, and he's having a conversation with his disciples, and he's died, he's risen from the grave, and he's talking to them about what's going to come moving forward. He looks at the past, he talks about the prophecies in the past, and he's looking forward. And this is what he says. He says, "It is written that the Messiah is to suffer and to rise from the dead on the third day." The Messiah is Jesus, and he's talking about exactly what just happened. "And that repentance and forgiveness of sins is to be proclaimed in his name to all nations." The heart of Jesus' teaching was change. He used the words repentance and forgiveness of sin. Now, maybe for you, these are words that you don't hear about regularly, words that you wouldn't use typically to talk about change. But Jesus used them. Repentance is a word that comes up a lot, that Jesus used a lot. It's this idea of change of mind, changing the way we think, the way we see things, change of heart, mind, and the way we live. Jesus came to reveal God to us. And in that, a change in the way we think and view God. A change in the way we view ourselves and how we view our relationship with God. I'm not so sure this is a one-time event. I think as we live this life, it is continual. If we're open and humble, that change of heart and mind happens over time. In reality, it's a lifelong process. It's not a one-time event. Wherever you are in life, I have a question for you. What kind of change of mind and heart does God have for you? What does that look like in your daily life? Jesus talked about that a lot. You can see it in so many of his teachings. I would encourage you to check it out in his books Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John that talk about the teachings of Jesus. So what are those two changes? Well, one he talks about is repentance. The second one is forgiveness of sin. It is interesting that even atheist philosophers and scientists ask the question, what is it that separates humanity from the rest of creation? Is there anything different from us compared to the rest of the animal kingdom? Sure, we have greater cognitive abilities, reasoning that animals don't have. But I have heard some say that the difference between humanity and the rest of the animal kingdom is this word guilt. Guilt. You know that feeling that you have, maybe something that you've done or said in the past that you just regret. Things that you wish that you could take back. Maybe it's guilt for things that you're doing even right now. Guilt can also be something that people have done to you. Anna Quindlen, she's a famous New York Times journalist and author. She says this, Guilt is what separates humans from animals. Guilt, it's interesting. We feel shame and regret from the things that we have done in the past and even in the present. Sometimes that guilt is justified, sometimes it isn't. That guilt that is justified, Jesus said he came to forgive us of that guilt, to take it away, to completely wipe the slate clean. Jesus uses the word sin to describe that guilt. It basically means living outside of what God intended for us. So what change does Jesus want to bring into your life? Is it that idea of repentance, a change of mind, heart, and living towards each other and God? I think that's for all of us. Is it forgiveness? A clearing away of your guilt, a clearing away of my guilt? I don't know about you, but that is the kind of change I am up for. I'd love to engage with you further on this. Throw your thoughts or your questions below and we can talk about it together. Have an awesome day.